Hello and welcome to Geek Speak with Envision IT, a podcast for business leaders and technology experts that like to stay on top of the latest security news and listen to interviews with insightful industry leaders. I'm Bill Crane, Chief Stakeholder Architect and CTO at Envision IT. Let's get started. Today's topic was brought to us by a listener, and it has to do with an article that the NSA came out with. And that article was called Adopting Encrypted DNS in Enterprise Environments. And you can go to nsa.gov and see the full details on that. And the topic has to do with encrypted DNS. So for a while, we've had something called DNS over TLS, and now we have something called DNS over HTTPS, or also known as DOH. And those have been out and not heavily used, but where we're starting to see this a lot now is the browser vendors, such as Chrome and Firefox and Edge, are all adding integrated support into the browser. And what this is it gives you the ability to do DNS resolution. So, you type in a URL for a website you want to go to, that gets converted into a DNS request that goes out over the network, converts it to an IP address, and that's how the connection works. So what this allows is, in the past, that was always clear text. Now, the disadvantage of all that being clear text is, say you're a home user and you're going to a website. Well, your ISP can see that. So, and in fact, a lot of ISPs will take that data and then resell it as well. So there's a privacy issue there. So that's what's driving this. So as far as the technology for kind of home or mobile use, it's great for privacy. But where we see a challenge, and this is what the NSA was warning you about, is in a corporate or enterprise environment, the fact that was clear text in the past was actually kind of a nice thing, because we could have controls and systems in place to inspect all that traffic. And when we notice that a request is going to, let's say, a known command and control server, that's driving ransomware infections, we can actually identify that, log it, take action. So that's a really good thing. So the challenge we see now is, if I'm a corporate user using a corporate device or maybe a BYO device, and I have this DNS over HTTPS turned on, now all of a sudden those systems I had in place can't see that traffic. So it opens us up for some potential infections. So what the NSA is recommending is, hey, if you want to use encrypted DNS just for internal privacy, that's fine. But to do that, certainly use an internal DOH server that you have control of, and you can also log and inspect all that traffic. Normally on an internal network, that's less important. So, that's something you can do, but not very important. The other thing they're saying in the document is to basically block all unauthorized DOH and DOT resolvers. This means that, you've either approved or not approved those systems, so you can block those. DNS over TLS runs on a specific port, which is 853, so that's pretty easy to block at the firewall as well. The problem with DOH is it runs over HTTPS, like everything else in the world nowadays. So that is really hard to block. So I think what we'll see is basically the need for TLS inspection. Normally these are big expensive boxes that can break the TLS encryption, inspect the traffic, re-encrypt it, and send it on its way. There's some really good technologies around that nowadays. So the good news is that while it's an extra component you need to put in place, there's pretty good options for it nowadays. But and that opens up a whole world of things you can do with that browser traffic for even more protection. So that pretty much wraps it up today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions or you have future topics you'd like us to cover, please connect with us via the link in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Geek Speak with Envision IT.